Hi, I'm Reverend Paula Montgomery Skiles, and this is Unity Church of San Marcos, and it's Sunday, February 12th of 2023. Can you imagine this is already 2023? So I invite you to enjoy a special service with us today. We have a wonderful guest speaker. Our licensed Unity teacher is Linda Gillespie, and our musician today is David Rosenblatt. And our service is wonderful, and I'm certain that the message from Linda is, I wonder. And if you would, just come on forward, Linda, and share with us this morning. And David will be giving us an opportunity to hear of his music. He's written something very special for us that we will also be hearing on this service, and that is Hold On to Spirit. So, Linda, I appreciate you being with us, and thank you for coming.
It's my joy to be here with you. Goodness, I didn't expect the frog to be present. Welcome. Come on in, Maria. That's delightful. As Paula said, my talk title is I Wonder. I wonder. As infants, we come into this plane of existence with wonderment. Coming from that little space inside mother's womb into, oh my goodness, what is all of this? And we're born with a desire to know more. Scientists have determined that newborns actually believe that everything they see, they sense, is a part of themselves. And that's why that mother-child connection is so vitally important. So we come into this world with a natural curiosity to know more. And children, I have 7 great-grandsons, and they range in age from 18 years to about 14 months. And I have had the opportunity to spend time with various ages along the way recently. And the infant, everything that they can grasp, they explore with all their senses. They see it, they smell it, they touch it, and they taste it. Everything goes into their mouth. And how different are we today? We have a natural curiosity to know more. This talk title came to me several months ago, and I've been playing with it for a very long time. Because I am one of those very curious people. Something comes up and, oh, I have to know more about it. In my morning reading this morning, a word came up that I was not familiar with. And the first thing I did was reach for my phone and Google. Oh, I see. And that's how my mind works. And unless curiosity is totally squelched in a child, it becomes our number one motivator for learning. Why do we go to kindergarten? Why do we go to school? Why do we go to university? It's because we want to know more. And the word curiosity is everywhere in my world right now. Everything I pick up, I do a Zoom gathering every morning at 8 o'clock. And you're all welcome to join us. We have a great time. And it's called Morning Practice with Linda. And we read from several different authors. And I'm always amazed at how synchronicity, that part that synchronicity plays in all of that. And words seem to come from different people, written at different time. And I scratch my head. How does that happen? And it all falls into my knowingness on the same day. That will always remain a mystery, I know. But that piques my curiosity. How do synchronicities happen? So, curiosity, curious, just kept coming, and it's still coming. And it fascinates me to no end. And so the first thing I do is exactly what I did this morning with that word I told you about, which I can't remember right now. That's how important it was. I pick up the dictionary, or I pick up the phone and look in the dictionary, and to see how curiosity is defined. And it says it's a strong desire to know or learn something, which is exactly what brought me to Unity. My guess is it's exactly what brought you to Unity as well, was that curiosity to know more. There has to be more than I've known before, that I've been taught since I was a toddler. There has to be more to it than that. And so I just sit with these words and let them come to me. And one of the things that just happened that landed for this talk was when I opened the My Science of Mind magazine for February. And they always have a topic for the month. Guess what it was? Curiosity as a superpower. All of the guides are written by a minister named Raymond Anderson, who's, I don't know, he focuses a lot of his attention because he finds spiritual meaning in a lot of superhero movies, as do we. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Avatar? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't seen the new one, but mm-hmm. I hear it's quite amazing. And so it's that curiosity that becomes a tool. Not only does it become a tool for learning, but it becomes a spiritual tool. And in this magazine, as my search continued, because after all, curious minds do want to know, and I have a very curious mind, Holly Sharp, the editor of the magazine, begins her editorial with a couple of interesting questions that I want to just throw out to you. What ignites your mind? What ignites your mind? And when do you feel most alive, buzzing with curiosity? Think about it. What ignites your mind, and when do you feel most alive, buzzing with curiosity? Hold on to those two questions. We're going to talk about them a little later. Curiosity asks life-changing questions. questions. I had to take a long, hard look at what ignites my mind. And when do I feel most alive and buzzing with curiosity? This, what I'm doing right here, right now, ignites my mind, and I feel fully alive, buzzing with curiosity to know more, because there's more for me to know. Teaching, caregiving, learning new concepts, learning new ways of doing things, learning how to change and grow and expand. All of those things and so much more keep me alive and growing. Many of us were excited when we first came to Unity. The teachings clicked with what we believed, and we found a community of like-minded people. Good morning. We were excited to take classes, to learn, to heal, to change our thinking, and change our lives. Are you still excited to do those things?
Yes.
To learn, to grow, to practice the unity principles of practical Christianity? Is that still buzzing? That curiosity still buzzing for you? Or has it worn off? If it has, are you willing to rekindle that curiosity to learn and grow and to change your life, to go deeper? Jesus tells us, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. In Matthew 7:7. Have you ever asked in prayer, what is mine to do? Or what it means to create a world that works for all? Jesus tells us to ask and the answer will be given to you. Is it not the desire to learn, to know, and to embody the truth for the purpose of living life more fully? I think it is. In fact, I think that it was curiosity born out of desperation that led Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in 1886 to a lecture given by E.B. Weeks there in Kansas City, where they were living at the time, which their friend and teacher Emma Curtis Hopkins had arranged for him to be there. Myrtle was desperately sick at the time. And they had tried everything and they didn't know where to turn. And so they went to this lecture. I have this mental image of all of this taking place. This is one of my favorite Charles and Myrtle stories. During the lecture, Myrtle grasped an idea that I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. It became her affirmation of health and wholeness. Myrtle had been told all of her life that she would inherit tuberculosis and that she would die from the disease. And she had inherited it. thoughts held in mind create after their own kind. That works for negative things just like it does positive. So she had resigned herself to that faith. However, faith in God, her faith in God, kept her curiosity alive. There has to be more. There has to be something out there. And so she kept looking, she kept searching, she kept inquiring. And she walked through those doors after that meeting with a divine revelation working in her, not only in her mind, but in every cell of her body. I am a child of God. Therefore, I do not inherit sickness. So the very next day, she set about looking into Scripture, finding all she could find in the healing mode and what she needed to do. And she spent 8 hours a day for the next 2 years in prayer. She approached it just like a job. Charles would go to work, she would go to prayer. The kids went across the street to Grandma Fillmore's. And in that prayer, she thanked God for her body, thanking every organ, every cell, every bodily system for her health and for the support that it had given her all her life. And asked for forgiveness for any abuse that she might have put on those systems by her error thinking. This was the beginning of unity. It was her curiosity that led them there that evening. And not only was Myrtle Fillmore's life changed, so was ours. We would not be in this room, gathered here together this morning, if she had not been curious about what this man, E.B. Weeks, had to say. She had no idea what he was going to talk about, but she knew what she knew, and she was curious to find out more. It was her neighbors, friends, and family's curiosity about her healing that they were seeing taking place right before their very eyes, that her prayer ministry began. Charles was, of course, her closest observer, and he began his own prayer practice based on what he was seeing. And he was seeking healing for his body, for his business affairs, and his life. He loved to say, excuse me, when he had an important decision to make, I will take this to headquarters. Meaning that he would take whatever the situation was at hand into prayer for directions. Curious minds want to know. And like I said earlier, this has all been niggling with me for a very, very long time. And over the last month or two, I have come to realize that curiosity has been one of my most effective tools in my spiritual growth and in the expansion and evolution of my soul. If I had simply taken classes, read books, and articles on spirituality, taken workshops and taken copious notes, and sat in my chair waiting for transformation to happen, I wouldn't be here today. My curiosity has kept me growing. It's kept me alive. As I was writing this talk, it brought me to the fifth unity principle. knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, that's truth with a capital T, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. That's the way Reverend Ellen Davenport states it in her book, The 5 Principles. I've been doing that to one degree or another for almost 30 years. But the challenges of the last 3 years have called me up higher. There's more, Linda. There's more. I have been given the opportunity to live the truth that I know at a much higher level. I've learned to not say I can't, because I can. Or at least I can learn how to do what I think I have previously thought that I couldn't do. I'm doing things that I never dreamed I was capable of doing. I have learned that no is a complete sentence. On January the 24th, that's hard for a caregiver. That's hard for a helper to say no. And I think that it's probably hard for everybody in this room. It's not easy to say no until we learn how. On January the 24th, I needed some R&R. So I took Pat's car to Tomball, to my son's. She's not driving, she didn't need it. And I went to Tomball on Monday evening. And my son, I parked out in front of the house. My son and my grandson brought all my stuff in, all the necessary things. Of course, there were other things in the car, umbrella and anyway, lots of stuff in the car. And we set about playing with that baby I talked about earlier. His name is Stone. Stone Everett Gillespie. I love that. I love that. In my mind, he's Stony. But I don't know that that will ever be anywhere else but in my mind. And we started playing with him and having dinner, and it started raining. The kids went home, and we went to bed, and the rain continued. Craig, my son, went to work, and it kept raining. My daughter-in-law works from home, and she's a very busy woman, and she went about doing her work, and I went to the bedroom, crawled up on the bed to do what I went there to do, to listen to a novel on Audible and play solitaire. And that's what I did. And sometime during the afternoon, I get a knock on my bedroom door. She said, "You got to come see this." And I thought the dogs were doing something cute. They have 2. And so I went charging out, and she opens the front door. Her neighbor had texted her and said, "You might want to come and look at the car parked in front of your house." The street had flooded. The water was up above the bottom of the doors on the car. And she was just beside herself. She said, "Give me the keys. I'm going to go move the car." And I said, "No. No, you are not. You're not getting in that water. It's moving much faster than you know, and you don't know what's in the water." Interestingly enough, this is a new neighborhood, about 5 years old probably, and there are 2 large drainage grates on the other side of my son's driveway. There was no water going in them. It was just coming up. It came really close to their front porch. And their house is built up, not at street level. And she said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going inside to call the insurance company. That's what I have insurance for. And she looked at me with wonderment, curiosity. Okay. She wasn't sure that I really knew what I was doing. But I did. And I knew that. I went in, I made the phone call, I filed a claim. They made arrangements for me to have a rental car so I could get back home. And everything just fell into place. And the most remarkable thing about all of this is something that Paula touched on in that opening prayer. That peace that passes all understanding was at the core of my being. Did I know how to do all this? Yeah, I did. I really did. 6 months ago, a year ago, would I have known that I knew? My guess is not. But today I know. I know I can do all things that I need, that need to be done by me. No, I do not know how to scale Mount Everest. Don't know. My curiosity is great, but it's not that great. I don't need to get to the top of Mount Everest. I need to know how to function at the highest level of my being in this world today with grace and ease, fulfilling God's will for my life. So I came home. They totaled the car. It had water in the floorboard, and apparently all the electrical stuff is under the floorboard. And they took care of all of that. And then the next challenge was finding a replacement. And I set the intention, we will not spend one dime more than that check is written for. Whatever that reimbursement check is, we will not spend one dime for it. More than that. Wow. So we spent 3 days last week, didn't we, Pat? Looking for the right and perfect car. And you know, they say it's not what you know, sometimes it's who you know. I have a great nephew that happens to manage a Toyota dealership. So my niece, his mother, called and told him what was going on. And he said, have her call me. So I did. And on this phone call, this man just went to work on the computer. It's that curiosity. And he had the tools to do that. And he had the tools to go deeper into the investigation of all of that than I would have. And I am so grateful for him, because he enhanced that peace of mind that I already had. And he found 3 new cars, new to the line of Toyota, I'll put it that way. 3 used cars. It's called a Corolla Cross. Didn't know what it was. For your information, it's just a step smaller than the RAV4. in the what it's worth department. And he found 3, one in Bernie, one in Killeen, and one in Universal City. But the one in Bernie was a good price and only had 15,000 miles on it. So he suggested that we go look at that one, and we did. It had a couple of problems that Pat wasn't comfortable with. And my job as durable power of attorney for her at this stage is to honor her wishes as long as they are reasonable. And she just wasn't comfortable with that car that we saw. Over the weekend, remember the weekend last weekend? Mm-hmm. The ice? A branch had fallen on the car, caused very little damage. It damaged the taillight, and there was a little dent, no bigger than this, that they were willing to repair. And so about 8:30 that night, we signed all the papers for that car. And as we were driving home, I thought, this is not working for her. This is not working for her. I also learned something else in all of this. I don't need to be making important decisions after 6 o'clock in the evening. Because I'm done by then.
Yeah.
I do much better in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we looked at new cars, and the Corolla Cross, and we called them and talked to them about getting out of the original contract, and they were most gracious, most gracious. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And we have a brand new 2023 Corolla Cross on its way to us, and we'll probably pick it up tomorrow. We thought we were going to be able to get it yesterday, but that didn't happen, and that's okay. But my point is that I continue to ask, what is mine to do? And when the answer comes, I ask again. And all of that asking is born out of curiosity. To know more and to understand God's guidance in my life. A lot of our curiosity is born out of necessity, just like it was for Myrtle. It was necessary for her to be healed. God had something important for her, for them to do. And here we are. As a new friend of mine, Waylon Lewis, said in the introduction to his book, it's never too late to fall in love with your life. Your life will change when you integrate what you have learned into daily, in the moment practice. That sounds an awful lot like the fifth unity principle to me. So I ask these 2 questions again of you. What ignites your mind? When do you feel most alive, buzzing with curiosity? Is it to write a new song? Is it to create something else in your life? Is it to take a class, to learn more about what is available to you? Think about it. Because curious minds want to know. Thank you.
Right.
And now David Rosenblatt has something very special for us as we get ready for meditation.
It's as special as you want it to
It is special.
be. This is a song that actually I released this a few years ago, but it's kind of gone through some changes. Because curiously, I was wondering. Transformation. I'm also going to lead us into meditation where you can pick it up
Yes.
after. So.
Got
It's
it.
a song about healing, transformation like a butterfly, calming. I seem to buzz around a lot, like to center and calm. So the song kind of gave me that. It's one of my more new age pieces. Slow in my road, curiously, exploring from soul. I hear the sounds as they should be, rolling in from the corner. I see the ring that rules them all. We have all the time in the world, or do we? I wonder. Yet you have to be in the night. Hold on to spirit. Hold on to love. It's the essence of our every minute. From within and above, moving with spirit, hold on to love. Catching a butterfly. It's all about transformation. I ask myself again, why can I accept this illumination? Why should I bother to try? Might be painful, or could it be gainful? We have all the time in the world, or do we? Yet you have to be in the hold on to spirit, hold on to love. This
On this beautiful winter morning, I invite you to simply breathe. Take 3 deep, cleansing breaths. Let your body relax into your seat as you perceive the beauty of the world around you through all of your senses, from the sights and sounds that enchant you to the fragrances and tactile sensations that delight you. Allow yourself to be surrounded by the magnificence and majesty of all that is. All the things that spark your soul and make you feel most alive are waiting for you to say yes to the buzzing of curiosity that is merely reflecting the beauty that is within you. Allow your awareness of God to deepen your appreciation for the beauty all around and within you as we rest in the silence. And now, I invite you to bring your attention back into this time and this space. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you so much, Linda.
You're more than welcome.
You blessed us so much. Thank you. Thank you all for being here this morning, and thank you for sharing with us on our online community. God bless you.